All right, Sarah. For this episode of Inspiring Ideas for the Classroom, you had mentioned to me some time ago about the online labs that Vernier had, and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, that's really cool. But I think I kind of blew it off a little bit. I didn't realize how much was actually there until we were talking recently about it, and we thought we're coming into the new season, school season. Is it called a season? I don't know. New school year. Um, Not sure what
I
season
think
comes in.
it's
It's playing
seasonal,
sport. School's a sport.
schools
But,
are holiday.
yeah, there you go. But as we come into that, teachers are looking at. I mean, we have a really high percentage. I mean, it's a pretty high percentage is doing remote. They
Yes.
can't do the hands-on lab, and then some of the teachers that I've been talking to are telling me that, well, we will have a lot that aren't remote, but I can't necessarily get into the lab and have them do lab stuff because of the distancing. But
Yes.
so we're coming back. We wanted to jump in with the veneer
Yes.
so that we can show them options, things that they can do, they can use with the actual data of like doing a lab, right?
Absolutely. And I was so impressed this spring. I think Vernier kind of had a call to action and wanted to make sure that they were meeting teachers where they were as well. And they wanted, just like everyone, we all want to support and provide that support for teachers. And Vernier has always been wonderful, but especially now they have this. I want to say it's something like over 200 labs that can be done virtually with real data. And students have the option to both receive that data, to download a free app, which I'll show you in a minute, on that works, I think, on any device. I know you and I have used it on multiple devices, even our phones. And then there's also the associated lab documents with those too that the teachers will be able to access. So I think they're still providing those in Word form that teachers can then make edits to and kind of make it their own and then distribute that as needed. So I think you and I today will just go through and just show teachers kind of a how-to in case they hadn't seen it yet, or maybe they have seen it, just haven't had a chance to go through and see where, where all do I need to click and what all do I need to make this happen. But I'm so excited about these resources. So I'm going to go ahead and let me share my screen. We're going to start at the online link that Vernier has to an Excel sheet. And I'm starting here where it's elementary, middle, and physical science at this tab. But depending on your content area, you could choose to physics or chemistry or biology, and it's going to give you full lists of all the labs that Vernier has made available for the virtual online labs. So back at the elementary, middle, physical science, at the top of each of these tabs, the first link that you're going to see is download instructions here. Now we're mostly going through all the instructions, but if you wanted to download that, it looks like this PDF file. So this PDF sheet, you can just read through it if you want to. It sort of explains what the different files are and just gives you some background information. The next link that you're going to have it on the top of each of these tabs is the download experiments and sample data. Clicking on this link is going to take you to this site. And this is kind of the home for their sample data library. And it gives you a lot of the background information at the top. You'll notice that you don't have to have a login to be able to use any of this. And as we scroll, you're going to want to scroll all the way to the bottom. Now about halfway down, you're going to see these quick start instructions, which again is for your own information. We're going through all of this right now. There's another link to that PDF file with the background instructions, the one sheet PDF. But you continue scrolling all the way to the bottom, and this is what we want. These are the links to 4 really big zip files. I went ahead and downloaded the general science, physical science for both elementary and middle school, but you can also choose to download zip files for both for biology, chemistry, and physics. But if you choose to download the zip file for the general physical science, it will download here, and this is where you'll see a list of what you're going to basically see for all of these. You're going to have a Microsoft Word document, and you're also going to have an AMBL file. So for all of these labs, and again, these are all of the labs listed back in that sheet. So every lab that you see listed here. If we look back at this, you're going to have the Word document for you. And what's always been nice, with Vernier has done this forever with these, but you're going to be able to edit these Word documents in however you would use them for your class. So they have the basic, how they would do it, and then you can tailor this for whatever your classroom needs are. Also, with these Word documents, you're going to have these AMBL files. These are the files you'll want to distribute, and you can distribute this however you want. You could email these files to your students. You could probably post them to most learning management systems. I'm thinking I was a Google school, so I'm sure I could post this file on my Google Classroom. But these AMBL files, that's what the students will need at home so that they can actually run that data and see the graph of it. Once you've distributed or decided how you want the Word document and the file, you're going to want to make sure that your students all have access to this Graphical Analysis 4. Now, back on this Excel sheet, what's nice about this, in the first column, you're going to see a list of all the experiments of which you can choose from. But then in the center column, it's going to tell you the app that you need. And you're going to notice that for most of these labs, you're going to want this Graphical Analysis 4. And it's just the same app, even though it just lists it, it repeats it over and over just so that you know. But it's this link is what students will need, and this is where it's going to take them to get this Graphical Analysis 4. I know Stephen and I have downloaded this Graphical Analysis 4 app on lots of different devices. We have them on desktop computers, laptop computers, Chromebooks. We even have them on our phones, and we've been able to run this graphical analysis with different probes and things when we're doing in-person labs. But you can also run these virtual labs as long as you have access to this Graphical Analysis 4. So the lab that we're going to be looking at is the boiling point of water. So I chose this one for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's the lab that I went ahead and downloaded the Word document for it. I have Graphical Analysis 4, but also you're going to notice kind of an extra bonus with these is that for a handful of these labs, Vernier has made YouTube videos of scientists going through and conducting these labs as well. So the kids are going to be able to click on this YouTube link and watch the lab actually being performed. But then they're also going to be able to take the AMBL file of the data that you send them and be able to do whatever you'd like them to do with follow-up questions from this lab. So let's say that I have my Word file. Here's my boiling temperature of water. I like it in this way. I've distributed it this way to my students, and they're going to be able to see all the things that are going to happen in this boiling temperature of water lab, including how to process the data. They're going to create a graph and then answer some questions about this. Kids are going to receive this lab from you, and then they're going to want to open that AMBL file. So I choose, once I have this file, and as long as I have my Graphical Analysis 4 app downloaded, if I just open that file, you're going to notice that the Graphical Analysis 4 automatically opens that file for you. And the way that it's opening on this computer, it's opening it with a graph. But if I wanted to also see a graph with the values from the table, that's right up here in this. If I click on this, you can either show, you get to choose which ways you show this. If I want to see both the graph and the table together, this is going to help me know, okay, this is my first point that was graphed, so at 0 time, this was my temperature. At 10 seconds, this is my temperature. I'm going to be able to see all of this. I can choose different places on this graph, and it's going to highlight it immediately on that table and show me the time and then the temperature associated with that. Let's say I want to go right to where that phase change is probably happening, just right here. And I notice, okay, at 440 seconds, I'm almost hitting that boiling point, 99.7 degrees Celsius. And then if I click up here, now I'm just right at that phase change. We know that's where that graph flattens out, that's where we have that phase change happening. All right. I think that's, I don't know what else to add.
The one you downloaded here, it's elementary and middle school. And so even our elementary teachers could use some of this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then the chemistry, physics, biology ones, what type of labs are on those?
Okay. What's nice about, for the labs on each of the other tabs, let's say chemistry, and I taught high school chemistry, they have a collection of labs. If you're familiar with Vernier, you know that they have lab books, and they have things like chemistry with computers, and I know there's advanced chemistry with Vernier, chemistry with Vernier. These match up with all of those books that you might already have or maybe have seen. They have just taken labs from each of these, and again, there are selections of each of these labs that they've actually videotaped someone performing these labs, so students can process the data on their own at home. They can look at that raw data at home with Graphical Analysis 4, but they also have the option to watch someone performing this lab. Organic chemistry with Vernier, Vernier chemistry investigations for AP chemistry. So I know I had this book at home. I had the chemistry with Vernier. I had advanced chemistry with Vernier. Similarly with biology, that you have the advanced biology, the biology with Vernier. Probably a lot of these labs, again, if you have these books at home, you've already seen these labs, and they've went ahead and made a lot of these labs available virtually for students.
That's pretty handy.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'll be a good resource. If we can't do labs, we're going to assign this so they can still virtually do the lab and have all the data and be able to do that. Good deal. I think it's a good resource.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.